Hello from Barcelona. My name is Diana Daniels, YPO Greater Europe, and I am the CEO and founder of Kronos Group, working in telecommunications, labor, and financial inclusion. And today is my pleasure to be the hosting of the Leaders of Leader podcast, brought to you by the YPO Leadership Development Network. Today, we're going to talk about leadership at the edge of AI and ChatGPT. And for that reason, we have invited Noam Yasour from YPO London, originally born in Israel, and seasoned tech and growth leader with over 20 years of experience in product and software engineering in the B2B and B2C commercial leadership in startups and large international corporations. His most recent role was the senior director for global mobile publisher platform at MoPub, that is actually Twitter now, where he was responsible for a global team where he grew the business to hundreds of millions in revenues, growing 40% year to year, leading to selling the business in early 22. And he's actively investor and advisor for startups, as well as angel investor. Welcome, Noam. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Diana. Pleasure to be on the podcast.
Amazing. Well, this starting of the 2023 has shown to be one of the most disruptive years already, with a big hype on technology. And we could start this year without covering on what the world talking about, which is ChatGPT. This auto-regressive language model, which utilized deep learning to make a human-like text. This platform was already launched in November 2022. With a week, it had already like 1 million users. Around 300 billion words were fed into their system with more than 175 billion parameters. Microsoft, we know already, that made a multi-billion investment in the company, and they have estimated about like a traffic of 96 million visitors only. So, and the reason that we invited Noam today here is because he created a very convenient application that is called Kippy, which is an AI-powered WhatsApp service for keeping you smart and productive on the go. And with that in our mind, I had to say that in the past 2 weeks, Noam has already built a base over 15,000 users with no advertising, but just the power of recommendation from the YPO, which continues to grow. Congratulations for that, Noam.
Thank you. It's been a blur the last 2 weeks. Really, the YPO platform has been phenomenal in promoting and supporting Kippy. It really started as a passion project. And as seeing the acceleration of AI, I decided to share it with the YPO group, and it's just blown away from there.
What you have built is amazing and tremendously useful. I will even say that it's a little bit addictive, you know. In this case, Noam, how do you think AI like ChatGPT or Kippy can help leaders of tomorrow manage their organizations and team more efficiently?
Yes, absolutely. It's something that we all keep thinking about, given the rapid change in the industry and technology right now. I heard a really beautiful sentence today where it said, there are some decades where nothing happens, and there are some weeks when decades happen. And it really feels like we're right in that period. And every week there's new services and new paradigms that are happening. So which for us as leaders mean that we really need to be on our toes and keep on top of trends in AI. And I think that's really key, because one really fascinating thing about AI is how natural the adoption has been. You've mentioned that ChatGPT had over 1 million users in less than a week. It's the fastest ever product adoption that we've ever seen. And I think for many of us, it just felt really natural, and it became such a big part of our day and our workflows just overnight. And it means that early adopters of AI would start to see a real edge in business, and we're seeing it now. So we can't sort of wait for it to become a real thing. It's already becoming a real thing now, and we can already take advantage of AI and ChatGPT in our organization already today. Some of the examples could be around reducing repetitive tasks, such as support or creating drafts, and allowing talent and resources to move to more strategic activities. In addition, as we think about the amount of knowledge that goes through the organization, we're going to start seeing services that will allow us to access knowledge very, very fast. And I've already been approached by a number of companies looking to leverage the Kippy platform to enable their employees and customers to use natural language to ask questions and tap into their knowledge bases on the go. Another area which AI is already very, very good today is around ideation. If you think about the process of creating something from nothing, whether that's a blog post, whether that's a product idea or a strategy, you could use AI to give you the first 80, 70% of the work and get you really started on putting pen to paper and getting started on the IDs. You still have to do a lot of the work. And I think that's not a downside. That's really important where us as humans could become more strategic guidance to the AI and bring our creativity to life, assisted by the machine.
I love this because I guess that this is where the power of AI has a lot of potential. So, what do you think that services in this case, either like ChatGPT or like Kippy, will create these new employment opportunities or replacing existing ones?
I think we'll certainly see both, right? We are all, I think, concerned about also replacing existing jobs and what would talent do as they transfer or migrate to newer opportunities. And I think we have to be very thoughtful there as leaders to support our team, support our people in getting them ready and through that transition to different tasks, different jobs. So that's really important. And I think at the same time, what I'm seeing now as an investor and entrepreneur is just the rapid pace at which new businesses are starting. And if you think about Kippy, Kippy until 2 weeks ago was just a side project, and now is a real service with 15,000 users that I've pretty much built myself. And that is not because of me; it's because of AI enabling us to do things a lot faster than before. And because of that, we'll see more businesses popping up, more business models becoming feasible and available. And I think that will create more jobs as the market grows.
And what potential risks and challenges you see that the introduction of AI will get into the workplace?
I think there's so many of them, and we're probably not going to be able to cover all of them today. But one that I don't think is being discussed enough, and I'm fascinated by, is the loss of our personal touch or unique voice. And if you think about AI, eventually ChatGPT is driven by GPT, which is the engine behind it, and that's trained on humanity's knowledge that is publicly available. And that means almost that what it spits out is almost like an average or a regeneration of ideas that are already been created. And I think where if we rely on AI too much, we do risk to all become sounding very generic. And I think it's important to make sure that we don't over rely on AI to just do the whole work, but really maintain our own unique voice. And I think I told before, preparing for this podcast, I resisted the urge to go to ChatGPT to help me with my answers and really try to bring my own unique thoughts into it.
Well, I gotta confess you that I asked Kippy, what questions should I ask you for this podcast? And it gave me a really good ideas on with the type of questions. So some of those questions are actually produced by Kippy. So it's just
wonderful.
amazing.
Very supportive of using Kippy.
It truly is. So one of the questions that actually Kippy gave me for you is, how can leaders of tomorrow best prepare for the introductions of AI like Kippy or ChatGPT into their organization?
Yes, great question. Start now. If you haven't already started, start now. Find areas where you can employ AI. And I would say areas where either it's repetitive, kind of heavy on content generation, such as marketing or code generation, or repetitive data heavy tasks where AI can help you process, but also kind of think of what could go wrong in that process. So try to start with fairly lower risk processes where a human can supervise, or if something goes wrong that from the ChatGPT, then you can still course correct. We've all heard of cases where ChatGPT is literally invented whole storylines that felt really convincing, but have never happened before. And I think the other area is recognize that every organization, it consists of earlier adopters and later adopters. And in order to bring the entire organization with you to this new paradigm shift, think about training, think about how to create a culture that allows people to experiment with new tools and services.
I love this. I actually see the opportunity for the creation on how to create these prompts that you ask to these AI machines, right? Because not necessarily, it's also always like a good interview is about the questions that you ask, the imaginative and innovative answers that you will get, right?
Absolutely. It does touch on, I think even a month ago, I asked this question on LinkedIn did anyone hear about prompt engineering? And most people that I talked to have not heard about it a month ago. Now, most of us have already, I'm assuming that most of us have heard about prompt engineering, which is basically sort of like a machine whisperer, understanding how to talk to the machine, what questions to ask. And some argue that that would become a new profession.
I completely see it like one of those new jobs that we were just talking about that could be created. No, we have come to my favorite part of the podcast where with this action, we're going to do a quick deep dive on items that will allow us to learn more from you. So what I ask you, Noam, is to answer the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Okay. I'll do my best.
Well, let's see. All right. What is the best compliment that you ever received?
I think I'll go for recency. So the first paying user for Kippy was a huge compliment.
That is super nice. All right. Well, think back when you were 6 years old. What was your dream job?
I don't remember. I want to say a fireman, but it was very basic.
Well, you know what? I guess a CEO is like a fireman. Is we're always shutting down fires everywhere. So you're not that far away. All right. What is the one thing that makes you feel inspired?
Creativity, being able to create, really builds my own energy to the max.
Love it. So if you need to resume your life in a book, what will be the name of that book in one word?
In one word,
Yeah, one word.
can I do two?
Okay, do two.
Building Legos.
Building Lego. I like that. Love it. All right. If you could turn back the time again and then talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell him?
Take more risks. Take a lot more risks. Go out and try new things.
I love that. I guess that we all need to have that courage about taking those risks because they eventually will pay off. This is really a fantastic way to end this
Absolutely.
podcast. Thank you, Noah, for coming today with us. Thank you for giving us this amazing opportunity to know more about AI, their benefits, and the opportunities in the leadership journey of all CEOs and presidents of companies. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
And for you, yes, the rest of you that are listening and watching us today, I want to invite you to the next episode of the Leaders of Leader podcast by the YPO Leadership Development Network. My name is Diana Daniels. I will be happy to be with you one more time. Stay tuned and see you soon. Ciao, ciao.